to know MMA Today. Today I'm joined with MMA Today's own Douglas Geller. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, and hope all is well by you.
I'm good, man. So you can find Douglas on Twitter at DougGeller27. Is that right?
Yep, at Doug 27.
Cool. And how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Just got off my day job and going to enjoy the night and getting ready for the fights tomorrow.
Of course, yeah. And we're probably going to speak about the fights tomorrow later on. This won't actually go out till later on next week, but we can still talk about this weekend's fights, right?
Absolutely. Why not, right?
I know. So give me a brief description about yourself.
I'm 24. I live in New York City. I just moved here from the suburbs a couple months ago. I work in public relations, my day job, and really enjoy doing that. Went upstate for college at good college, spent time semester in LA, Manhattan. I've actually worked for Madison Square Garden for a time,
Oh, wow.
and I've always loved the fight game, loved being part of events. Worked for the University of Mixed Martial Arts in California for a while. Had a great time there. Met a lot of great fighters, people. Was an absolutely amazing experience, and I've been training for a long time, and absolutely love it. All aspects of this game excite me. I love the business part. I love the fight, and the fighters are the greatest part. The community is fantastic, and that's why I picked a part of it.
It sounds like you're like covering your mic a little bit there.
Ah, I'll speak a little louder then. We're good now?
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool. We got the last bit. I just didn't want to miss any of that important information. So how did you get into the sport?
Well, I started training in karate when I was 5 years old, and so I've been doing that. I've been training recently because I just moved away from the dojo I train at. But every time I go back home, I try and get a class in, and eventually I'll find a place where I can train again in the city. So I've been doing that a long time. And then back when I was a teenager in high school, 10 years ago or so, when Uriah Faber was in WEC, and then moved to the UFC, my parents started going to the fights. And they kept telling Doug, you gotta watch the fights. You gotta watch the fights. You're gonna love it. So I watched a few on Spike, but I didn't go to the pay-per-views with them. And I was just that kid who just didn't want to go with their parents out in high school. So eventually I started going, and I loved it, and I fell in love with it. And I did some jujitsu with my dad, and my dad's a beast. He's 60 years old now, but he has a 50-degree black belt in karate, purple belt jiu-jitsu, and can kick most people's ass. It's kind of insane. Um, so I live with that, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, I just kept falling in love. I started working in college with fighters at U of MMA and getting to know that side of it, and I've loved it ever since. And now I'm writing about them and writing about the business and keep learning more and keep getting to know great members of the community. It's an incredible community. You think of fighters as like these tough guys, but they're the nicest people in the world.
Yeah,
And they're very humble, and they're there for people, and that's what I find so impressive.
what style of karate was it you've learned your whole life?
It's a little bit of watered down Kyokushin.
Okay.
My teacher trained with Sosho Yama, who trained with Masaru, who invented Kyokushin. So they were the old school guys who first brought it to the United States in New York. So he trained with them. Did all the tournaments with them. He didn't get to go to Japan and compete there, but his teammates were all those guys who did. So it's basically Kyokushin.
Yeah, since I was young, I'm only young myself. I'm only 17, so I can't really say much about that. But I trained Shukakai karate for so many years. I then broke my arm and I stopped for a long time. And then I carried on. I got to first dan, almost second. If I went back now, it'd be second. But yeah, I love training karate. To be honest with you, it was great. Shukakai karate, that is.
Yeah, it's a great sport, all of it. Shotokan, Kyokushin, all the disciplines I find fascinating and really useful.
Yeah. Was there a specific fight or a specific fighter that you watched that you were like, wow, I want in. I want to watch this sport?
I don't remember a specific fight. I remember when I went. I remember watching a lot of it. I think John Jones was big for me because I went to school in Ithaca, and then he's from there, so that kind of like brought me out to go see the fights there and do it more consistently with my friends that watch the fights with my friends there. And then I actually became a Chael Sonnen fan before I went to LA, and that was kind of a thing that really got me into it because I found him just so entertaining. And obviously he has his stick, but it's just I found it hilarious at the time, and the way he put on a show against Silva, and that really the build up fascinated me. So that really got me further into it, and I really enjoyed it.
The American Gangster, eh?
Yeah, he's not my favorite now, but I respect what he did for himself in his talk was pretty entertaining, and that's what fighting is. It's supposed to be entertaining, so I enjoyed it.
And back then he was like, there wasn't many of them around.
No, he was the best at it,
Yeah, of course.
and he really got my attention because like you said, no one else really did it then. He was the first to really take the WWE shtick and take it to MMA and actually do it well.
Yeah.
And so he can talk like to a tree, and the tree would cut itself up and pay for his fights.
I like that.
And back then, he could actually back it up to an extent. So
Yeah.
now it's a little different.
How did you get into writing?
Well, I wrote for my high school newspaper, so I would do the sports section for them. I became an editor. I initially wanted to go into journalism full time. When I went to college, I had a couple beats, so I covered swimming and diving, and then can't remember crew and and softball and all these other sports. So I just wanted to do that. So I love telling stories, and that's why I work in PR because I get to help tell people stories, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And you did speaking about your writing, you wrote a book called The Dreamer, didn't you?
I did. It's when you said you broke your arm, I broke my ankle in karate, and then I just needed something to do, and I had an idea, and I went, you know what? I'm stuck in bed most of the time. I really can't do anything. Let me write it. So I wrote it, self-published it on Amazon. So it's available on Amazon, but it's called The Dreamer, and I really enjoyed doing it. It was just for fun, and it was a lot. And yeah, I'm an author, so it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, that's quite crazy. Getting it on Amazon as well.
Yeah, you can sell. Everyone can self-publish there. So I had a custom cover. My friend's into designing and all that stuff, so I had him make a custom cover for me, and then I wrote, edited everything, and yeah, it was an incredible experience. I didn't think I'd actually go through with it, but I'm kind of proud that I did, and I'm really happy with the results. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's an enjoyable read, and hopefully some people will check it out.
And obviously, we already spoke about your job outside of writing. What kind of things do you like to write at MMAToday?
I like to explore things that the mainstream media doesn't. So some of the marketing, PR aspects, because that's things I know about and how people are trying to push themselves. I also like writing about the kind of the regional scene or the lesser known areas because those are guys I've worked with. I've seen them grow, and I understand that business more than I do the top level because I haven't worked there. So those are things I'm fascinated by how people go and try and sell themselves and make fights and how to survive in this industry because it's really tough because there's so many people who want to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't take the most talent to get to the top. And that's interesting to me because what did this person do differently? Or I like the technique breakdowns because I like the technical side because I've worked on it myself. And like I love watching TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz. So this fight coming up, or it'll be done by the time this airs. But that fascinates me because I love the movement of TJ Dillashaw, and I think that's the way to fight, being able to change stances at any time, moving your head. We work on it at karate a lot. I'm kind of tired from working, so I can't kind of think of the Japanese term right now. But it's we do it a lot, and it's really helped me. So that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, yeah, like you were saying a minute ago. Obviously, by the time this episode goes out, it'll be around midweek, and obviously, we might have a couple new champions. We might have no new champions. We've got UFC 217 coming up tomorrow night because it is Friday night right now. Let's do some predictions.
All right.
So
people will know if we're right or wrong by the time this airs. So
exactly,
we'll be on the spot.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to do it. Where do we start? Do we start at the bottom of this card, or let's do main card?
Main card. All right.
Main card. Let me just double check all of the fights on the main card. Okay, got it here. I'm doing this on Verdict MMA here. I'm looking off this. So obviously we've got the first fight on the main card: Johnny Hendricks and Paulo Barrichello. Or Barrichello. I'm terrible with names.
I think he's Costa now.
Is that?
I think he changed his name too. That's an interesting one. I think he just wanted a name that people can pronounce.
Well, Verdict MMA don't have this. Why don't they have this?
Yeah, so, I'm on the UFC site. It's Costa now.
Oh, right. Okay. So obviously the weigh-ins are actually going down now as we speak. The official weigh-ins, not the early weigh-ins. They've already happened. Everyone made weight. Everyone's fine and dandy. Johnny Hendricks made weight. We could probably celebrate over that.
But, yeah, he had a little interesting conversation with the reporters, from what I could tell, while he was making weight.
Yeah, talking about. I think he said something on the lines of like, I don't know. I think it was like I made weight or something like that. Very, very silly. It was weird.
Yeah.
So who have you got there?
I'm going Costa, just because I think he's fresher. I think Hendricks is using his striking too much. I think when he was successful, he was able to mix in his wrestling and his striking, which made his power more useful and effective. Yeah. And to be honest, I really haven't seen Costa fight, but I'm taking a risk because I've heard people speak so highly of him, and that he's much bigger than Hendricks, and that he's faster than Hendricks. And I'm kind of taking people at their word and going to go with that because Hendricks has not looked good lately, and I rather someone who's taking less damage. When I think he's gonna be fresher and take the fight.
Yeah, like you said, he is a lot fresher. He hasn't took as much damage as Hendricks. I think Hendricks is coming near to the end. As sad it is to say, he really is. So I would take to Paulo. I think he could knock him out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think Hendricks is. I don't know if the beard's enough anymore. I think he'll actually his chin will fall.
I'm going to predict the first round finish here for Paulo.
I'm going to go second.
Second, okay, cool. So when we look back on this episode, we'll obviously know who's done it. Next up, we've got Stephen Thompson and Jorge Masvidal. I've actually gone for a Wonderboy decision here.
I agree with you on that.
And that's also quite a common pick for everyone, seems to be. Yeah, I'm looking at my friends' picks, and I'm looking at like the world majority picks, and it is decision for Wonderboy. Yeah, what do you feel about that?
I think Masvidal's a little bit of a slow starter, which will be he's going to want to bring it, and I think Thompson's motivated to really show off after his lackluster performances in the title fights. So I think he'll be able to keep the distance. I have a feeling Masvidal will take him down at some point, but I think Thompson can get back up pretty well, especially after working with Weidman for such a long time. I think he'll be okay. And then land some good shots and control the tempo.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. He's obviously the difference in the 2 5-rounders he's just had with Tyron Woodley too. This would be obviously a lot different being a 3-rounder, meaning he can give it his all in all three, rather than pacing himself.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It scares me that he was so hesitant against Woodley when he had Woodley in pretty bad positions against the fence.
Yeah.
But I still think there's too much talent in Thompson not to win this fight.
Yeah, he is very, very talented. You can't take that away from him. Like, he could be champ. That draw, that was very controversial.
I think I had Thompson winning it,
Yeah.
but I don't. When he lost, I thought honestly the fans lost in that one. That those were the real losers because it was not a fun. It was technical, and I appreciated it. It was frustrating to watch because you're
It
going
was.
Thompson. You have him in the position you want him in, and you're not pulling the trigger. What's going on? It's just I don't blame Woodley for anything in this because I think he managed it okay because I think he got the fight he wanted and Thompson needed to capitalize.
All Woodley wants to do is go in there and defend. He doesn't care. He's not bothered about how the fans want to see it. He wants to keep his belt, which is fair for a champion. He's not. He doesn't have to go in there and perform, does he?
I
Although
actually have no problem with that.
no, it. You want to keep your belt.
Yeah, I have no problem. It's honestly he's the one taking the hits, so avoid the punches kicks as much as you can. Take your health out. He has a family. I wish he makes as much money as possible, and all the best for him. But as a fan, it's kind of frustrating to watch. But
Yeah.
honestly, I get it.
Back to Wonder Boy though. He's had a crazy amount of fights. I think it's just over 100, including his amateur kickboxing record. Or I'm not too sure if that's with it. I don't know. He's got a total of 57 kickboxing fights, and he's also his amateur one. I'm not too sure if that counts too, but he's got 38 fights in amateur kickboxing.
I'll count it. There's still fights.
It's a lot of fights. It's a lot of fights. And considering he's only lost 2 as well.
It's incredible.
So we're both going to go Wonder Boy there, are we?
I think so. I think decision.
The next fight is our first 5-rounder. Is it Joanna and Rose first, or is it Cody and TJ first?
I think Joanna goes first.
I wouldn't mind either way. Yeah, Joanna. So I'm probably going to say Joanna by decision.
I can see it being finished, but I think that I'm going to go finish.
Okay, what round?
I'm going to say third round.
Third round. Yeah. Did you see the stare down yesterday?
Yeah, that was incredible.
That was scary.
That was cold.
Rose does her natural come in cold blooded stare.
That's why they
down.
call her Thug Rose, right?
Thug Rose. So you're going for third round, Joanna there.
Yes.
So
only because I think the fight is made off the scrambles.
Yeah.
And I think if Rose has a chance to win, it's doing what she did to Watterson and using her distance to control the stand-up and causing Joanna to go back and throw a kick or causing Joanna to scramble and have her take the back. I was watching actually the breakdown by Dan Hardy and John Gooden, and they showed how Rose moves through the guard and already methodically sets people up without them knowing with taking their back so easily. I think that's what she's going to have to do to be successful. But by doing that and creating those scrambles, she has just an opportunity to get hit. And Joanna is so accurate with her strikes, and they're so powerful that I see the chin being exposed in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I am going to stick to my decision win, though.
I can definitely see that, too.
Yeah.
They're both tough as hell and fantastic fighters who Rose has earned this opportunity.
For sure, yeah. Next one, you were speaking about this vaguely before. TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, saying this was... is this your favourite fight on the card? With you talking about it so highly before?
Yeah, I love this fight. I think it's going to be a back and forth fantastic fight. I also love the Vic Duffy fight. I think that's in Brown Gall. I think those are 3 of my favorites.
Yeah. Where'd you go with this one then?
My brain says Garbrandt, but I'm going Dillashaw just because I think Dillashaw will use his wrestling a little bit more and
Yeah.
keep Cody above against the cage and take him down once around and have a little bit more control than Cruz had.
Yeah. I think
But
with this fight, TJ's on my mind a bit here because I think he had an excellent performance against John Lineker back at 207, I think it was. I think that was a great performance. He went the full 3 rounds, but I think he was very sharp. He was a lot faster. It was nice to see because he was very, very smooth too. Did you see the footage that got released? I think was it yesterday or today by Cody?
I saw it once, and I think I should have watched it again, but I might do that after this. But
I think I only saw it the once too.
Yeah, it definitely was a knockdown, but I think I remember him getting up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah,
but it's also training where you're going to get knocked down. So I kind of expect both of them to get knocked down during at least once a training camp.
Yeah, or a few times. We don't know what happens behind the closed doors.
Yeah,
I think it was posted on the MMAToday YouTube page. A bit of advertising there.
promote.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look now. He drops him. He looks like he's about to get straight back up to his feet, but the video ends there just as he looks like he's about to stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think it was a knockdown. It wasn't a knockout.
Yeah, I don't think it was a knockout either.
So, what's your prediction on this then? Your final prediction?
I'm going to go Dillashaw decision.
Dillashaw decision.
I think Garbrandt has all the tools to win, and I think he's probably more talented, but I think Dillashaw will actually get the job done.
Do you think there could be a way that Dillashaw could stop him?
If he's able to hold him down on the ground, I think he has a shot at stopping him, but I don't expect that to happen. I expect the takedowns to come at the end of the round, and I think that's how he wins. Is he gets a takedown within the last 2 minutes, then holds him there and lands some ground and pound, and they're both going to come up looking a little bloody at the end. But I think Dillashaw will take a decision. Where are you on that?
See, I'm the other way. I like TJ Dillashaw. I do. I think he is phenomenal. I would love to see him as champ again, but I think Cody's got this. We saw what he did to Dom. Completely, different fighters, I know, but when you think what he can do, what he really can do, I think Cody takes this by decision. So
I can definitely see that.
We've kind of gone separate ways there.
A little bit, yes. I initially picked Garbrandt to win, to be honest, and then just thinking about it, switched, but it's not really a confident switch.
Yeah. And we've now got our main event, my boy Michael Bisping versus George St. Pierre for the middleweight title. What do we think about this?
It's going to be a good one. I hope St. Pierre stands for a little bit. I actually think he has really technical stand-up and would do well, but he's probably going to go for the takedown.
I think he'll go for the takedown early.
Yeah. You want to give your prediction first this time?
I'll give my prediction first, right? As a fellow Brit, I'm going to have to stand with my man Bisping. I think Bisping can stop George St. Pierre, and that's a very argumentative case, but I think this is massive for Michael Bisping's legacy. If he can beat George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva, that's crazy. I think he can do it. And I think he'd do it in the third round too. I think Bisping will have the weight on him, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna ask you a question, not on this card, but about Michael Bisping. Do you think he can beat Robert Whittaker?
Do I think he could beat Robert Whittaker? I do. And I don't know.
So you think that's a fight he'll win?
I do, but I don't know if I'm saying that because I'm British and I'm biased. But
that's what I'm trying to figure out. How far does this go?
I went back to see him UFC 204. I was in Manchester for his fight against Henderson. Um, that was a great fight. He was knocked down in the first and second, and that was scary. I thought he was losing the belt there to Dan Henderson. But what's your thoughts on this?
I think Bisping will win the fight in a decision.
Okay.
But I think it's because he can stand up when George takes him down. After the Chael Sonnen fight, I think proved that Chael was a light heavyweight, and so I mean Bisping was too, but Chael Sonnen a little bit more recently than Bisping.
Yeah.
And Chael said Bisping was the hardest person for him to keep down. He kept just getting back up the second he took him down, and I think George is going to try a similar strategy, which is why I want to see. I prefer to see him stand up and mix it up a little bit because I think that's a better way for him to go. But if Bisping can get up against Chael Sonnen, who's much bigger than St. Pierre, despite Sonnen saying St. Pierre is stronger than Bisping, I think that provides a massive advantage for Bisping, and then he'll get the better on the feet probably.
He's a workhorse, Michael Bisping.
Yeah, I don't see St. Pierre knocking him out.
No.
As much as I think I know he's capable of it, but I don't see it actually happen. I haven't seen it in such a long time that I don't want to bet on it happening.
Of course, yeah. And in terms of the card, do you think this is best card of the year?
I'd have to go back and look at the other cards. I'm
trying to think. I'm genuinely trying to think here. Do you think this was better than last year's 205?
In terms of fights, I know I was so much more excited for 205 last year. I was so much more excited. I think in terms of, I do think Bisping St. Pierre is more competitive than Alvarez McGregor in terms of people going up in weight classes.
Yeah.
I just think like Alvarez just didn't look good at all, and was very hittable, and you can't do that against McGregor. You can't be hittable. So I think that's a better headliner.
Yeah.
But overall, I can look up what fights were on 205. I can't remember off the top of my head. Joanna was on against Carolina.
Was it Woodley and Thompson too?
Yeah, Woodley and Thompson. I think the first one was on there. So
was it the first one? The first one was a draw, wasn't it?
Yeah. The first one was a majority draw. I'm pretty sure that was MSG, and it was Joanna Carolina.
Yes. Yeah, because then they thought at UFC 209, Woodley and Thompson. This isn't going back to 205 for some reason. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I found it was Alvarez McGregor, Woodley Thompson, Joanna versus Carolina, Romero Weidman.
Oh, that was a knockout and a half. Yo, Romero.
I remember watching that in New York, and that was everyone was upset at that one.
Yeah, I bet. And Misha and Raquel Pennington as well.
Yeah, I think this is a better card to be looking at it. Comparing it now, I think this is a much better card than last year's, except there's not as much hype. Because, I mean, Bisping can talk a lot and talk well, and it's St. Pierre's return, but McGregor brings...
It's hard for anyone. It's hard for anyone to go against McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
In the hype sense.
I even think from the first fight of the card, Zahavi versus Ramos will be an excellent fight. But I think there's just so many better fights this time.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. And that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much fun one.
All I've got to ask you. Yeah, so by the time this is out, obviously the fights will have happened. One of us would be correct, the other would be a loser.
Well, we didn't differ too much. I think we mostly just differed on a few rounds and Garbrandt Dillashaw.
Yeah, I think they were the only ones too. I'm going to listen back to make sure this doesn't mess up like it did with my the interview we discussed earlier.
Hopefully
Doug,
not.
Doug, it's been great speaking to you, man. Look out for Doug's work over at MMA Today. Don't forget to check out his Twitter at Doug Geller 27. It's been great speaking to you, man.
It's a pleasure finally getting to talk to you. You're doing excellent work, and I love following it, and I hope everyone does too. Make sure you give a shout out your social media.
Thank you very much, man. I'll speak to you soon.
Yep. It's at Josh Mantle, right? At Josh Mantle MMA.
It's at Josh Mantle MMA. That's the one.
All right. It's a great follow, so make sure everyone needs to go follow Josh.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.